Welcome, everyone. We're just going to give a few minutes for people to come in, and then we will get started. So you may not hear anything for a little while, but know that you're connected. Great to see everybody coming in. We're really looking forward to sharing with you this sneak peek for our upcoming summit. Thanks for joining us. Just a few more seconds to let some other folks join in as we just turned to the hour, and then we'll go from there. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our incredible sneak peek of the upcoming FSR Sarcoidosis Global Virtual Summit, which is taking place on June 28th and 29th. So, just around the corner. Our theme this year is United for Progress, a new chapter in sarcoidosis. We're very excited by all the work that's being done in the back end to make this a really incredible program and to bring to you world-renowned speakers and topic areas that you have all identified as being priorities. There's lots of opportunities for networking and engaging, and you're going to learn all about that on today's discussion. This is in a webinar format, so you will not be able to raise your hand or be unmuted, but please do dump any questions that you have into the chat. There is a chat box at the bottom of the page where you can write any questions that you have, and we will have time at the end to answer any questions that you have about the summit itself. With that, I'm really excited to introduce you to Kristen Vargas. Kristen is one of our longtime incredible volunteers, and she has been working with us over the last few months in helping us to build out this incredible programming as a consultant for us on this project. And we've been so lucky to have her working alongside us. She's bringing her own perspective as a patient, but also through the connections she has in the patient community. And then all of her fantastic project management skills that she's been bringing to the fore to help us drive this incredible event forward. So, welcome, Kristen. And I know you've got a lot of really exciting things to share with the community.
Thank you, Trisha, and hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, and it's been an awesome experience working on this summit as kind of behind the scenes versus a participant for a change. So as Trisha said, my name is Kristen Vargas. I am a volunteer and a consultant, and obviously as a volunteer, you're a sarcoidosis patient, so I know what many of you are going through as well. The theme of our summit this year, as Trisha said, is a new chapter in sarcoidosis. And I think the team and I have been really thoughtful to design this summit to empower, inform, and connect everyone who has sarcoidosis or who's impacted by sarcoidosis in some way, either as a patient, a caregiver, a clinician, whatever that case may be. It's really a unique opportunity to get valuable insights, ask pressing questions, and connect with those who are living with sarcoidosis and who know a little bit about what you're going through as a patient. I'm sure you can go to the next slide. So as a participant, what do you have to expect? And I kind of think about it in three big ways, and we'll go through all of these through the session today, but you're going to get exclusive content. So this will be content by registering for the summit that you won't be able to see anywhere else. It won't be on any of FSR's websites or the YouTube pages or anything like that. So this is really an opportunity to get exclusive content. To be connected to, we already have over 200 attendees. We think it's going to continue to grow as we have a couple more weeks of registration still left, and the opportunity to listen and connect with clinical experts that understand and are passionate about sarcoidosis as well, in addition to researchers. And I think all of this leads to a really big opportunity for network and connection that sometimes you don't get whenever you're just attending a webinar, an educational webinar, maybe through FSR or another organization. So really, those are the things that you can expect as an attendee. Next slide. So First, I'm very excited to announce that our keynote speaker is Gerald Prescott Gallion. And so for those of you that don't know, she is an actress, an advocate, and also a sarcoidosis warrior. And she has agreed to be our keynote speaker. And I believe that her message will be one, as we've discussed with her, she really wants to talk about resilience and hope in the face of sarcoidosis. And she's also given up her time to have an extended question and answer. So I think we'll just hear a little bit of presentation from Gerald before she'll speak about, she'll open it up to question and answer. So this is a really unique opportunity to connect with someone that, again, has sarcoidosis and I think has an incredibly inspiring story. So we're very excited to have her as our keynote speaker. Next slide. All right, so these sessions are back by popular demand. We've had these sessions at previous summits, and we call them Sarcoidosis 101. And it'll be focused on neurosarcoidosis, cardiac sarcoidosis, and pulmonary sarcoidosis. And really, if you think about a 101, these sessions are really great for patients. Maybe a patient is newly diagnosed. Maybe you've started seeing symptoms of a particular manifestation of sarcoidosis, or you're just wanting to learn a little bit more. So these sessions will be very basic sessions that will talk about diagnosis, how it's diagnosed, what the different treatments are, and really be great topics to just really learn and understand these different manifestations. And you can see we have excellent experts that have agreed to serve as our panelists for these sessions. Next slide. And we can't forget about Sarcoidosis 101. I kind of put it on its own slide, and that is the steroid impact. And there will be lots of opportunities to connect about steroids, not just in this session, but in some of our chat rooms and community groups as well. But Dr. Logan Harper of the Cleveland Clinic and Dr. Lucian Martz of Emory, both of them are from founding members of our Global Sarcoidosis Clinic Alliance membership. They'll be speaking about sarcoidosis and steroids. Dr. Harper has done some really amazing research that talks a little bit about steroids and why you use it and how effective it is and other treatments. And so he'll talk a little bit about that. And then Dr. Martz will talk about some of the comorbidities and some of the other pieces and things you need to understand if steroids has to be a journey that you're on because of sarcoidosis. So we're really excited to host this session as well. Next slide. We also have some other exciting topics that maybe are a little bit broader than 101 topics. The first one that we're most excited about, or at least I'm most excited about, is will be a limited engagement. So once you register for the session, once you register for the summit, you'll continue to register for this session a little bit later. But this is creating a roadmap for your sarcoidosis journey by Dr. Akavan from Cedars-Sinai, another GCSA clinic. Their team has really done an amazing job of developing a roadmap for sarcoidosis patients. So if someone comes to the clinic, what do you need to know? What questions do you need to ask? How can they kind of combine the specialists that you're seeing and make sure that everyone's on the same page? So this will be a very hands-on session in things that you can do and questions that you can ask with your own practitioners to create that sarcoidosis roadmap and that roadmap for your treatment and for understanding. And then another popular session by another panelist that we've had several times, Dr. Jenny Tabby, will be talking about managing the invisible, brain fog, sarcoidosis disease, managing the invisible fatigue, brain fog, and dizziness. I might have a little bit of brain fog this late in the evening for me. I'm on the East Coast, so maybe that's what's going on with me. I'll need to listen to her session. But it's always a popular topic of discussion, and we know that this is something that impacts sarcoidosis patients of all stripes. Next page. And of course, that's not all. This is not a comprehensive list. I won't read it to you, but there are a number of other sessions that focus on different manifestations or ways that sarcoidosis may show up in your family, how you decide what's sarcoidosis and what's not, navigating insurance, which I'm sure we've all had struggles with. So really great topics and additional tracks that you can choose to listen to as part of our summit this year. Next slide. And we're really excited. We're going to have something a little bit different this year. we haven't had a session on intimacy in quite a while, either through a webinar or through one of these summits. Zoe Kors, who is a renowned sexologist and an author of Reclaiming Pleasure, Redefining, I'm sorry, her book is called Radical Intimacy, but she's going to talk about reclaiming pleasure, redefining sex and intimacy while living with sarcoidosis. And so she's agreed to have an hour-long conversation with us about intimacy with a chronic illness, the things that you can do to reclaim your power, and really talk openly with your partner about what you need for intimacy and not to be ashamed of it. So we're really excited to have her. She's an incredible speaker, and I think that you'll really enjoy that. Next slide. And one of our most popular sessions that will continue this year is our Ask the Expert session. And we have a number of specialists, a neurologist, rheumatologist, cardiologist, and pulmonologist that will be available. And this is an entire 50-minute session dedicated to answering questions from you, the attendees. So it's always a popular session and always something that our attendees really appreciate because it really is an opportunity to get your questions answered. It usually turns into really great conversation, and it's really good to hear from the different perspective from these folks who have been treating sarcoidosis for a long time and are all trusted partners with FSR and have been for a very, very long time. Next slide. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about why is this different? So you can see here, Trisha was kind enough to give us, a sort of a sneak peek of what her session or what her website looks like. Yours would look very similar to this. So it's really a specific platform where you'll be able to see about speakers and how to reach out to them or where they're from. There's a number of chat boards. You can see the event, sort of choose your path whenever we have multiple sessions going on at the same time. We'll have exhibitors and as well as the FSR video library. So a really great opportunity. You'll also get to see who else is there and kind of have a little bit of fun and building your profile and telling people who you are so you can connect with other patients. Next slide. So one of those tabs was exhibitors. And so there's going to be a number of exhibitors and a number of booths where you can get additional information, either in the session information or in one of those exhibitor booths. We have a mixture of Sarcoidosis Clinic Alliance members, as well as partner organizations that are going to be exhibitors. So just like if you were going to a conference at a hotel and you kind of walk through the lobby and see the different booths and with pamphlets available. It's kind of the same principle, only it's virtual. So there'll be booths there with information and all of the resources that you need, all of the presentations will be available on this platform. Next slide. And I think one of my favorite parts of the session are the chat boards. And so it's really a great opportunity to meet people and to learn. We'll have a number of chat boards that are focused on specific topics. A few examples might be pulmonary sarcoidosis, how to find your community, living with multi-symptom sarcoidosis, but there are so many more. But it's a really great way to connect with others from the community, ask questions, make connections, and maybe you can even connect down the road and exchange information. But it's a really great way to get a little something extra out of the session, maybe even discussing, hey, I just attended this session. This is what I heard. Am I right? What do you think about this kind of conversation? So it's a really great way to connect and probably one of the most valuable tools of the summit. Next slide. And in addition to those chat boards, which are great for networking, there's going to be even more. So there's a lot of ways for you to network and communicate with other individuals and attendees at the summit. So the platform is AI based. So the team is doing a lot of work to set up the model so that you'll get recommendations based on what you're interested in or the questions that you answer during the registration. We'll also have a number of coffee breaks, which are basically interactive breaks during the sessions that will discuss specific topics. So we might have a we have a coffee break actually on managing fatigue and how to understand that, ways to navigate steroids, the power of a support group, um, tips on advocacy and how you can become a sarcoidosis advocate. So those are some of the coffee break chats that we'll have where others that are interested in that topic will kind of come and have a discussion. We'll also have a number of meetup groups. So if you're a neurosarcoidosis patient, maybe, or a Black patient, you're able to connect with others who have that same experience and just have a really informal conversation, especially for the affinity groups. And for the coffee breaks, we really don't have a set agenda. It'll just be a matter of, asking questions and really communicating with others in the group. So again, it's a great opportunity to really feel connected to other patients who obviously know a little bit about what you're going through and can help, answer your questions from a patient lens, which is so important as well. And next slide. This is completely new this year, and we're incredibly excited. I'm not sure, I may have to be watching the summit for weekends after it's still available, because we have several research posters that will be presented. So we're going to have 10 researchers that will present their posters and conclusions from their projects. So these are researchers that were potentially funded by FSR. So we fund a lot of research into sarcoidosis. There are many programs that FSR has been researching on their own. So we'll tell you a little bit about what FSR's research is telling us. And we have scientists from all over the world. So you can see US, Colorado, Iowa, California, Pennsylvania. We also have the United Kingdom and Portugal. So we'll have a number of researchers from across the world. And this is really important. We think about so many times research being for the patient, which it absolutely is. But this is also a great opportunity for you as a patient to speak to these researchers and let them know what's important to you. So there could be a piece that they're missing, that patient connection or patient perspective can really give them insight into something else they need to look into, or potentially maybe even a new research project. So again, it's not important for you to attend those sessions just as a patient and to be able to learn and understand how people are thinking about sarcoidosis in the world of research, but it's also an opportunity for you to, add your voice to that research and to these people that are really interested in finding solutions for sarcoidosis patients. And of course, I would be remiss, but we can't do this without the support of our wonderful sponsors, which this year is A-Tier Pharmaceuticals and Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals. And so without their support, we obviously couldn't host this type of session and weekend for you. So we wanted to make sure that we were recognizing them. So I've said a ton and talked really, really fast, which is my nature. So I'll answer any questions that you have, but really the message today is we want you to register today. The registration, so even though the summit isn't until June 28th and 29th, registration does end June 14th. So that's just a few days away. The other benefit to registering is you get the recordings of the event, every recording, not just the sessions that you attend, for 30 days post-event. So maybe there's a conflict. Maybe there's something that you wanted to see, but you wanted to participate in an affinity group. So you had to switch it out. You'll be able to go back and review that. So 30 days post-event. And again, it's all exclusive content. So this will not be anything that you'll see posted on the FSR website. There are scholarships available to registrants. So if you feel like the cost is a barrier, then there are scholarships available that you can apply for. But the fee for both days is $40. And again, FSR has really been thoughtful in trying to make this as accessible to everyone that we possibly can. You can register by using the link on the presentation, or if you want to scan the QR code with the little dinosaur in the middle, you can scan that as well. The other thing I would be remiss if I didn't say is we'll have an educational webinar that we'll do live, but we'll also record for all of our participants to kind of give you a sense of how to use the tool that we use and the web platform so that you can play around in it and you'll have access to it, even though you may not, you know, there won't be any chatting or discussion boards actually happening. You can get around and play in the platform, and we'll have a training session a few weeks or a few days before the actual summit. So I've said a lot. I've been seeing a few questions come through. As I said, I talk really fast, so I apologize for that. But happy to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, so Kristen, thanks so much for sharing that and for all the incredible work. And I'm even more excited listening to you now that I get to hear all the really exciting things that are going to be happening. But I wanted to just go to the chat and have us answer just a few of the questions.
Sure.
And so someone wanted to know how they will know when each session is being offered and how, and do they need to register for every single session?
Yeah, so you'll see once the platform is open to you, you'll be able to see what sessions are available, the time, the agenda. So again, you'll have that about a week or so before the actual weekend takes place. You won't need to pre-register for any of the sessions. The only exception maybe, and we're still working through the logistics, is that roadmap workshop that I talked about because we really want to limit the number of attendees. We haven't quite figured out the logistics of making that work. But really, you don't need to register or pre-register for anything. And I'll tell you from experience, I may have last year started a session and thought, gosh, I can watch this later. I think I want to go to the other one. So I stopped and I jumped on to the other one. So that's totally acceptable too. And I think one of the brilliant things about the platform is the way that you can really flex it and make it your own.
Fantastic. And we had a question here about whether or not you know whether sarcoidosis is sarcoidosis or menopause. What a great question. And I think a fantastic question for us to ask in that session about what do we know if it's sarcoidosis and
Yes.
what tells us if it's sarcoidosis. That's exactly the kind of question that we would love to be able to feed back to people during the session. So everyone knows during every session there is a Q&A. We also have a live chat that's feeding throughout, so you'll get any resources or feedback happening live by that and have a chance to chat with others while that's happening. But this kind of question is the exact kind of question we would ask you to bring to our experts who know about this and can and answer how we might be able to answer this question. But thank you for bringing that to us. We had a question, Kristen, about what the hours were for the conference itself.
Yeah. So all of the conference, we host it on a central time zone. So most days it starts around 8 o'clock, and that's really more of a networking time for you to visit the exhibit hall, maybe some of the booths that we have available from the clinics, totally optional time. Most of the content starts around 9:30 on Saturday and Sunday, and we go until 5:30 that evening. We have some time for lunch. But there's sessions during lunch too, so you won't be bored. And so that's really how the sessions will work. You'll have a little bit of time also between each session. So we don't end exactly on the hour. We try to give you 10 to 15 minutes to take those bio breaks and things like that. And again, I know you can totally wear yourself out because I might have done that my first day of my first summit. But I learned on day two how to block it out a little bit differently and really be thoughtful of the sessions that I want to attend. And then I watched several of them later as well. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and just to add on to that too, Kristen, it is available. The platform is available to you 24 hours a day. So
Yeah.
if you need a break in the middle of the day, but you want to go back and watch the videos, those videos populate immediately afterwards. So you can watch them even within the course of that weekend if you wanted to access them, and then as well 30 days after. But it gives you a chance to make the choices, as Kristen's saying. You got to take care of yourself. It is a little bit of a whirlwind weekend. You got to take care of what you need but know that the resources will still be there for you as you're coming back. We had a question here about I'm registered as a patient, but wanted to know if their husband could join with them and ask questions on their behalf. So, really, it depends on how you intend to utilize. Every once in a while, some people will like, I wanted my husband to join me for this one session, right? But if your husband's looking to also get involved and get connected, there's lots of caregiving opportunities. Then we do encourage a separate registration for that because it is really important for you to have each have the space and look at the things. We've also had some people that have the caregivers and the patients have gone to different sessions and then reported back to each other so they could participate live in both. So it really does depend on what you need and what your own individual needs are for that. But you wouldn't be able to have two links open at the same time. It's something to know from the platform standpoint. So you wouldn't be able to be in two different rooms and use your registration. The way the system works is we can only have one link. So if you're on your computer, it'll be on your computer. If it's on your phone, it'll be on your phone. Otherwise, the system will shut you out, if that answers that question. Um, let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss one because when I was scrolling here we go. Okay. So are there any researchers or sessions that are talking about arthritis? And I'm going to jump in on this and then Kristen, feel free to chime in. But, the Ask the Expert, we have some rheumatologists participating in, and that's a really great place to bring those specific questions to. There won't be a specific session on arthritis itself, but it's the kind of thing that pops up a lot in the discussion questions. But Kristen, did you have other insights on that?
Yeah, so your head was going exactly where my head was definitely we would want to ask Dr. Frame during the Ask the Experts if she has any insight into that. The other place where I think again, other sessions where I think it would fit in and would be a good question is our panel on when is it sarcoidosis? How do I know? Is it sarcoidosis? Is it arthritis? Is there such a thing as sarcoidosis, arthritis? And um I'm not as familiar, so I think it's a good topic of conversation. So I think that it's another one of those places where we don't have it addressed specifically, but there are places where I think we can get some answers and have some great discussion about it.
Fantastic. And someone asked if there is a schedule of the different sessions available yet. And we were just talking about that earlier, Kristen. Do you want to say a little bit more?
Yeah, so the schedule won't be available until the platform opens, which again will be probably middle of the month. We are doing our best through social media. Actually, I think I stole much of their information from social media to the social media team to sort of share this and share out like what the sessions are. You've really gotten the biggest, probably sneak peek today of what any of our attendees, besides those working on the sessions, have gotten with what we talked about today. So we'll continue to pulse it out as we see it, but you won't see the full agenda until the middle of the month.
And same question around osteosarcoidosis and whether or not that is something going to be available. Again, our rheumatologists are our favorite people to have this conversation with. This, though, I'm going to chime in and say this has been a hot button topic for us. In fact, we just did a clinical education session on this, and it is something that is really pushing forward as something of a priority for our patient population. And we've been bringing that back. And this goes to what Kristen was saying before. You come to the summit not only to learn, but also to inform the things that we can then take back to our researchers. And so, those of you that are raising these topics that are priorities for you, please bring those to the table because our clinicians learn from that. And then they start to think about what other things we need to research on. So, osteosarcoidosis, for example, is not a widely researched area, but because you all have been raising the flag and letting us know this is a concern, we are bringing it back to our clinicians in the hope that they will do more research on that and drive that forward.
Great questions.
Yeah, and just before we close out, I just want to give anyone who didn't quite have the chance to put their questions in the chat to put any additional questions that you have. And in the meantime, I will say this. So these sessions are really so incredibly powerful. I encourage you all to join us. We know it's taking a weekend out of your summers and pulling you away from your families, but this is such a unique opportunity to learn and meet people. We have people from all over the globe that are joining us, and you learn a lot from other people's experiences. Those coffee chat sections are always some of the most popular sessions we have. And I just love the kind of chat that we get going in the platform itself. It's a little bit different than even a webinar chat because you're chatting with each other and you're learning from each other, and it's really vibrant. And though we're not all in the same room, it kind of feels like you are. And I don't know. I just want to encourage everybody on that. Seeing no other questions, Kristen, I'll leave it to you to close out. I'm going to pop up one more time for everyone the registration page. And don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions.
Yeah, totally available. If you have questions, please reach out to me. Um, I was so excited to be able to work on this. I'm a relatively new sarcoidosis patient. I say that, although I feel like I'm becoming an old sarcoidosis patient really fast. But I was just diagnosed a few years ago, and I was able to attend my first summit shortly after being diagnosed. And whenever I got the opportunity to take on this role as part of my volunteer, as an extension of my volunteer work and really work with the foundation. They had already done so much great work, and I'm so excited to be able to bring this opportunity for you. I think it's so unique for us to be able to have this time together. And sarcoidosis is such an interesting condition, and we all have, so many snowflake stories. It's just a really powerful opportunity, and I hope you'll all be able to be there. I'll be there for sure, obviously, but cannot wait, and hope that you'll join us there.
So thank you, everyone. Reach out if you have any questions. I did drop into the chat our contact information, which is info@stopsarcoidosis.org. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.